Upon the internet lives chat rooms. Millions of anonymous users can connect and interact, converse and share. Although evil can subside demonically, not only in reality, but virtually. In one moral innocent chat room, ReferSales, misfortune unravels. The former thing that needs to be taken to mind is that this was the first time Funnymouth had entered ReferSales, and should have been the last. He's seemingly nothing special. People come into chat rooms all the time to ask delirious questions, insult people, and then leave. However, Funnymouth didn't do any of these staple acts of immaturity. He appeared, then disappeared, with no aim or goal of sorts. Funnymouth lived by himself in a chat room, Blood. A user titled lemonlimeskull entered the chat room and a conversation portrayed. He was eerie and deathly, a combination of hell. Lemonlimeskull continued the conversation, but Funnymouth only replied with inoffensive answers and a face that appeared like he was gazing. After a small conversation, Lemonlimeskull left. The act got boring quickly. Funnymouth was trying too hard to be peculiar, and it seemed fake. Returning back to his home chat room, he explained how Funnymouth was just boring and weird, and delightfully progresses his conversation. Silence was heir to the throne for half an hour. Returning back to the chat room, it was just him and Funnymouth. Funnymouth didn't speak, however, just put that face over and over and over again. Soon though, it became noticeable that he actually wasn't even in the chat room. Assuming it was a technical foul, Lemonlimeskull still felt an awe of creep shudder down his spine and flail across his body. Leaving the chat room and playing around on the internet, the time was 2:40 AM. Lemonlimeskull was ready for sleep. He never really suffered from traumatic nightmares, only around 4 within the past 10 years. From a girl being strapped down into a doctored chair, where some creature violently sucked out her brain through an organic tube, to watching a man pinch at somebody's face, clawing at his skin as it tears and sheds gruesome warm blood, then the tongue being clawed at, gripped tightly and ripped out, concluding in the eyelids of the victim being attacked until they rolled into some form of grotesque prolapse. But sadly, this night, something sinister took place. Laying upon freshly cut green grass, a smell warming his senses, looking upon the bright blue sky, cloudless of depression, he felt a cold sweeping feeling freeze his heart and trigger his panic. It was a bizarre, writhing feeling upon his neck. Grabbing at the back of his neck, he pulled an elongated, filthy, bleeding earthworm. Again, the damp-soaked feeling, withering down his collarbone, was another earthworm. As Lemonlimeskull woke up, he discovered he'd drooled all over his neck, and that was probably the reason for the icky dream. What was odd, however, was that there were 4 indentations upon his bed, almost like someone had kneeled upon the bed, placed his hands near his head, and hovered over him. There were obviously logical explanations, but he never found one, and from that night onwards, he never slept well again. As the morning greeted life, Lemonlimeskull checked his email before leaving to garden. Funnymouth. He was confused. He hadn't given his email to Funnymouth, and neither could have the recipients of the chat room. They were all idle when the message was sent, 2:40 AM, around the time he had slept. Taking some form of bait, he replied, and so did Funnymouth. After more recurring messages, he decided to block Funnymouth's address, assuring you there was no messages from Funnymouth again after that. LemonLimeskull went on to continue his day and returned home that night to an email from George. ReferSales was down and broken. Of course, he tried to fix the website, but reopening it redirected him to blood.com. He emailed George saying that this redirected him to a pixelated face with a lifeless tongue. George disagreed. To him, it was a 404 page. No face, no dangling tongue, no horror. LemonLimeskull was confused, but intrigued. Everything was seemingly okay. Why wasn't it? Then it made sense. It wasn't just a picture with a pixelated face. It had text, all in different colours, repeating Funnymouth. Unblocking his email and sending a profane message, Funnymouth replied with numerous amounts of unexplainable spam. It was impossible this many was able to be sent after 1 minute of being unblocked. He must have been sending them for the past day. That creepy, awful feeling tasered through his system as he looked at his screen. Anger dominated LemonLimeskull's thoughts, and his adrenaline pumped. He was angry, but as he methodically calmed, he sent another message, asking for his website to be back, apologising, and acting civil. Funnymouth replied with a staring face. LemonLimeskull lost all control of himself and destroyed his computer, smashing his keyboard and cracking his screen. His temper flew. Later on that night, it was almost an eternity before he slept. But when his dreams came to visit, he was there again, laying upon the grass, in the woods, with the clear blue skies. He again felt that moist, squirmy, horrific feeling produce, moving from the back of his neck to inside of his mouth. He felt movement, and slowly protruding out of his mouth were 4 slimy, black fingers. It didn't hurt when it happened, but it happened. A loud pop noise was made also. He arose from sleep and struggled his way to the bathroom. Flicking on the light, he was blinded. But as sight returned, he tried his best to smile. But his jaw was completely broken. Hanging loosely around his neck, his tongue lolled out helplessly. His teeth were only held in by mushy flesh, and he could pull them out with as much discomfort as a needle prick. He laughed. What a handsome face. What a funny face. What a funny mouth. A funny mouth. Funny mouth.